If there's one thing I've learned from living out here in the country, it's that fences aren't just wood and wire. They're boundaries, both literal and moral. Unfortunately, Martha from the HOA had never learned that lesson. It started on a warm Saturday morning. I was up early fixing a water trough when my ranch manager, Pete, came barreling up in the ATV like his hair was on fire. "Boss, you're not going to believe this," he said, panting. "Martha's down by the south pasture, cutting through your fence with a pair of garden shears." I squinted at him. "You're kidding?" "Wish I was. Said your bulls were blocking her scenic view." Now, for context, my south pasture bordered the edge of the HOA development. I'd already put up a strong welded wire fence and plenty of private property signs. But Martha always treated those signs like they were optional reading, so I hopped in my truck and headed down the hill. And sure enough, there she was, standing in a wide-brimmed hat, pruning gloves, and a smug little smile, snipping the fence like it was her personal gardening project. "Morning, Martha." I called out. She jumped. "Oh, I didn't see you there." "Don't worry, I'm just trimming this old fence. It's ruining my backyard view." "Trimming," I said. "Martha, that fence keeps my bulls from wandering onto your property." She waved a hand dismissively. "Oh, please. I've lived next to farms my whole life. They won't cross. They're just cows." I tried not to laugh. "They're bulls, Martha, 2 tons each, with horns." She huffed. "Let'll just have to learn to respect shared spaces." "Shared," I repeated, my voice low. "This land isn't shared. That fence is the property line." Martha glared at me. "The HOA voted to extend our walking path through this field. You're obstructing community access." I pinched the bridge of my nose. "You can't vote your way into my pasture." She shrugged. "We'll see what the county says." And with that, she snipped the last wire, stepped through, and strutted across the open field like she owned it. I shook my head and muttered, "You're about to learn the hard way." See, my south pasture wasn't empty. It was home to Titan, a 6-year-old prize bull, 2,400 pounds of pure muscle and bad attitude. He was docile if you respected his space, but the moment anyone crossed his fence, he turned into a freight train. Martha was halfway across the field when she noticed a low rumbling sound. She turned and froze. Titan stood about 50 feet away, pawing the dirt, tail flicking, nostrils flaring. Martha screamed, "Oh my God, someone help." I leaned against my truck and called out, "Shared space, remember?" She started backing up, tripping over her own flip-flops. Titan gave a deep snort, then charged. Not full speed, just enough to send a clear message. She bolted for the fence, shrieking, "He's coming! He's coming!" I called out, "You're doing great, Martha. Fences are there for a reason." She dove through the opening she'd cut, just in time to avoid getting flattened. Titan skidded to a stop on the other side, bellowing, and stomped the dirt like he was laughing. Martha, covered in mud and grass, glared at me. "That animal is dangerous. You should be arrested." I smiled. "He was on his property, Martha. You weren't." She stomped off, muttering threats about calling the sheriff. 2 hours later, Deputy Hayes showed up again. The man knew this ranch better than his own living room at this point. "Hey, Bennett," he sighed, stepping out of his cruiser. "Got a report about an unprovoked bull attack. Want to tell me your side?" Pointed to the security cameras mounted on the fence post. "It's all on video. We watched the footage together. Martha cutting the wire, trespassing, then nearly being chased out of her shoes." Hayes chuckled. "You know, I'm starting to think she's got a death wish." "She's got an ego," I said. "Big difference." He wrote a few notes, then said, "You want to press trespassing charges this time?" I grinned. "Nah, I've got a better idea." The next week, I replaced the cut fence with a reinforced steel gate, the kind used for rodeo pens. Right in the middle, I hung a big, shiny warning sign. "Caution, trained." Bulls. Trespassers will be tested. But I wasn't done. I also added a small plaque underneath, engraved in fancy script, dedicated to Martha, who discovered the true meaning of boundaries. When she saw it from her backyard, she went pale. For weeks afterward, she couldn't mow her lawn without flinching at every lowing sound. About a month later, she filed one last complaint, this time about the menacing bull presence lowering property values. The county's response: a short letter that read, "The bulls are on private property. Recommend respecting the boundary fence." Martha's house went up for sale 2 months later. She moved to a gated community, one without pastures, livestock, or me. As for Titan, he became a local legend. Folks from town would drive by just to take pictures of the bull that scared the HOA lady into moving. Hey me. I still chuckle every time I see that plaque shining on the fence, 'cause out here in the country, fences aren't just there to keep things in. They're there to remind people like Martha that respect is earned, not voted on. HOA Drama Neighbor.